up, my Nerf friends? It's your favorite Alchemy Star YouTuber, back with the milk and the account password.
Hey, you!
You might be wondering, where have I been? And some comments definitely shows that, and I'm truly grateful for all of you still remembering me, despite me gone for like almost half a year. But to understand what happened and why I have not been making videos, and why I have left Alchemy Star as a whole, we first need to go back to the very beginning, to how I started making YouTube video in the first place. So about 1 month before the game is released, I was really bored. I wanted to play something, but I don't really want to play something that required too much of my time. And that naturally leads me to play a gacha game, and I have played plenty of gacha games before. The last one I have played is Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, but I played that game for around I think 1 year or so, and then I quit. And then plenty of other gacha games. So I understand for a gacha game, the best time to play it is at the start of the game's live service. So I went to the gacha gaming subreddit to find my next game. The next game I can start from the very beginning. And I found Alchemy Stars, which about to be released in 1 week. And to me, the game seems very novel. It is using a tile-based system that I've never seen before, and I'm hooked. The music seems nice, the art seems nice. That's why I started playing it, and to my surprise, I really like it. The game feels very fresh, and for everyone to enjoy this game at the same pace, because there's no like an earlier servers on China or Japan or whatever, everyone is experiencing this game for the first time, and I really enjoy it. I also joined like the official Discord. Everyone is talking about the game, everything is good. But then fast forward to I think 3 months or 2 or 3 months into the game, day by day, more and more content creator is just leaving the game. I don't really understand why, because I still really like the game, but then eventually it leads to a point where there's just no content creator for the game at all. Even the last one that I've been watching eventually just left because of work issues or family issues. So I think to myself, man, this is such a good game to have no content creator covering it. What if I do it myself? So it begins. The sole purpose of me creating a YouTube channel, well, not really, it's continuing a YouTube channel, is because of Alchemy Stars. And it also leads to the reason why I have stopped making videos in the first place. And the reason is... the game feels very stale. It doesn't really change that much, or should I say, it doesn't deviate from the formula that it had pretty much like at the beginning of the game. Like even now, if you have collected like, I don't know, 5 characters that is good on the first month, you still can use those characters to clear pretty much everything in the game. I'm not joking. It just, the game doesn't really change that much. Not only the characters, even the enemies doesn't really change that much. You can find the same enemies used in today's event or even today's endgame bosses in the first month of the game. So what has this game become for people who play it for a really long time is a glorified visual novel, and some people are okay with it. Personally, I don't really like to play a gacha game just to read its story. Like, don't get me wrong, I like visual novel, but those type of game requires a mood to play, and I don't really play them often either. To me, what made Alchemy Stuff fun in the first place was the novelty of it, but then since the novelty wears off, I find myself very unmotivated to play the game. For me, Alchemy Star is like a swimming pool. You're always so excited to jump into every single new swimming pool, but once you dip in, you'll realize, yeah, it's the same shit in it. I mean, have you heard the Idol song?
This song is way too good. Holy shit.
The characters?
手紙ってロマンチックですよね。つまり私に手紙を書いていただけませんか？内容は何でも構いませんので。
Yeah, more like, yeah. She's so cute. I just want to give her head pats. I'm not really having fun right now. Don't get me wrong, the game is still pretty fun if you are new to the game, but I can't say much for people who have stayed for more than a year or even half a year. I honestly really enjoy this type of turn-based game where it doesn't really pressure you too much to play on like a timer or something. It's really nice to require you to move your brain a little bit sometimes, but then to me, Alchemy Stars simply have way too little of that, other than a specific event called Endgame, where it comes every half a year or something, where it's actually difficult because you can choose a mod. Most of the time, the events are really easy. It's so easy to the point that us veteran players just don't really get any enjoyment out of it. It's like playing a soccer with a 2-year-old. I mean, it's so easy. We don't really feel any accomplishment. Even if the stage is hard or really difficult, it doesn't really mean that much because the reward is really bad and you might as well just skip it. A lot of the time they put the hardest stage at the very last, and also doesn't really give you anything much other than one pulse at most. And speaking of pulse, let's get to another important reason why a lot of people are leaving the game, is because although the characters are really pretty, they look very good, but then in terms of gameplay, there are not a lot of reason to pull for new characters, since there are really no power creeps. Now, you might think this is a good thing, right? No power creeps, that's good. Well, in a game like this where it's getting really stale and they didn't really do a good job of like keeping things fresh, when there's no power creep, that means there's no reason to pull. Since well, my unit already strong enough to beat all content, why would I need another unit that pretty much does the same thing, just a little bit different? I don't need it. So if you're telling me, well, you can just pull for the waifus, well, I will, but that's not everyone. A lot of people do play it for the gameplay, do pull for the gameplay, and to me, if Turok just catering to people who are appreciating art, pulling for art, it's just not a really good strategy to retain players, especially veteran players. But enough of me, let's look at what other people are talking about. What's wrong with Alchemy Stars? Now this post is 5 months ago, which is around the time I quit. So let's see what people are saying. What's wrong with Alchemy Stars? Their earnings dropped and a lot of content creators switched to another game. Is the game dying? Dolphin here was a whale, but honestly, the content hasn't been exciting enough for me to really want to spend money. I have enough breakthrough and all the characters. Product has done a great job with power creeps in my opinion, but that honestly make it worse for a spender like me because I don't need any new characters for the most part. I love the gameplay still, but it's not enticing enough for me to fully invest it in it or spend money. Not losing hope though. Now I am a free to play in Alchemy Star, but still I can resonate with this guy because even I don't spend money, I also have pretty much all the characters, well, the essential one. You might think that's a good thing, but that might not be too good of a thing for Turok Wallet. But you know, money and those kind of stuff, I don't really care that much. The gameplay not enticing enough is definitely the main reason I quit, and it's the same with this guy, but apparently he's still playing, so that's good for him. Let's look at another comment. It's basically snooze fest. Quality of life cannot save your life if the core gameplay and story are boring. Oh, and instead of fixing those issues at hand, they dump their resource into something like Cloud Garden, which is not even needed. Now that they earning too little money, so they cut some corners, such as stop hiring translator and using MTL instead in some countries. I don't really know what MTL is. I assume that's automated translation or something. The Genshin, Arknight, and Big Grand Order, they clearly lack quality of life, yet they keep printing the money and maintaining their player base just fine. Now, this guy definitely point out an important point. Not the story. In my opinion, I think Alchemy Stars story is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's really good, but for a gacha game, it's good. But the really important point is the Cloud Garden. It's definitely not something they should have done in my opinion. It's cool at first, like when I first saw it, yeah, something like that surprised me to see it being released in Alchemy Stars. Whether that's a good thing or not, initially I don't know, but right now I can clearly see it's not a good thing, because a lot of people come to play Alchemy Stars not because of Cloud Garden, it's because of the character and the tile-based gameplay. And for them to implement events into the Cloud Gardens and they continue to develop more stuff for the Cloud Garden, I see that as a wasted resource, because a lot of people not only don't care, gacha gamer hates FOMO, and if you implement something that is not fun for them, and you still want them to do it, it will create a lot of conflict for them, whether they want to keep playing this game mode where honestly they don't really enjoy, but it's in the game. Now let's look at another post, which is 3 months ago this time. Now is a good time to return to play Alchemy Stars. The post is deleted, so I don't know what it say. But the comments, the first comment is just people saying, I'm so tired of trying to get back into this game. I love it with a passion, but there is just painfully little to actually motivate players to stay. Same here. I try to come back every time and I always realize I just don't really enjoy the gameplay. The story can be nice, although it's a little bit slow, and the fact that it doesn't have voice acting definitely make it a little bit worse. But the gameplay is definitely holding me back here, despite the great art. Now another post, which is 2 months ago. Do you guys think Alchemy Star is doing that bad, or can it rebound? So in this post, it shows that the revenue of Alchemy Stars, which is 700,000 for the global servers, which by gacha standard isn't that bad. But keep in mind, Alchemy Star actually do frequently get over 1 million, and frequently I think the first 2 months or something they get 2 or 3 million per month. And to drop down to 700,000 is definitely not looking too good for them. Although I don't really know how much they would need to survive. I would assume 700,000 is good enough, but let's see what people say about it. We don't know how much is good for them exactly. I really love Alchemy Star and I want you to live, same here. But I understand people who have issues with the game. Every event feels the same. There isn't enough content for all the characters they release, which is big true by the way. Like they keep on releasing characters, but there bound to be a lot of characters that just forgot to continue flesh out, so a lot of characters are forgotten. Like for example, during the Eve event, there is a blind girl. Like who even care about that girl anymore, right? Keep on introducing new characters, keep on making new toys. While I am actually very impressed they can keep on impressing me with their art and design, but still, maybe a little bit too much character. But I don't know how they can fix this though. They try to introduce the alternate version of existing characters, which is a good approach in my opinion, so they can flesh out existing character more. But yeah, definitely a little bit too much character right now. You can literally build one team for each element and be okay. Honestly, if you don't really care about min-max that much, you can just build one team and be okay. You don't need one team for each element, just one is enough. I know they added some content, but it's not enough. What they should do is some small events between big events, some random awards, random cosmetic that could be given through different challenges, and of course board frame different cosmetic or profiles. I don't really know about that. To me, the rewards are not like the biggest thing, although they could try to implement a system that could, I guess, encourage people to play the event more. But in my opinion, the gameplay is still the most important thing. If your game is not fun, who cares about all the rewards? People do love Alchemy Stars, but the game is repetitive. I think this is a very important point to point out. I love Alchemy Stars, don't get me wrong. I might have been talking shit about it this whole time, but if you're a new player and you come to this game, you're probably going to enjoy it. For how long, I'm not sure, but eventually you will reach a point where you feel, hey, every event kind of feel the same, and you have like every half a year you have a new endgame event where it's slightly different, but otherwise most of the time the event is the same. You have one stage that is the new boss monster that is different, but that's it. You wait 1 month to fight one different stage. For the most part, event always have the same format, same rewards. I am personally not bored by it, but some people are. People are in love with their art, which I'm still very impressed with their art by the way, but you don't have enough places to use those Aurorians. True. I literally summoned so I can use different art for my in-game display. I played since day one. Just focus on more content, rework secret territories so it has different levels, keep the current one as level 1 and add more that increase difficulty and rewards. Add separate game modes, easier and harder. To be honest, they recently do add a lot more game modes, so they do listen, but is that enough to pull people back? I mean, I don't know. Not for me. In my opinion, if they really want me to come back, they might need a big overhaul, like Alchemy Star 2 or something. And they need to market it well, because a lot of people don't know it. They need to introduce a new way of playing the game instead of just the existing tower-based game, in my opinion, because, well, that hasn't been very successful with how they're doing things. 3 weeks ago, I also added a poll asking if my viewers are still playing Alchemy Stars. 45% say yes, 38% say no, and 17% say come back occasionally. So more than half of my viewers don't even play the game anymore. This honestly makes me really worried about it, but that doesn't really say too much because I've been away for so long and I only have 300 plus votes. But either way, let's look at what people are saying about Alchemy Star and why they leave. Chroma Sucks 2 says, I was a day one player, but after a while it started getting stale and found myself just doing my dailies to get by. Cloud Garden was a nice addition, but my little iPhone 12 mini both load slowly at too small of a screen and keep having to delete things to free our memories. Partially my own fault for not getting one with more RAM, but still, there have been many games I played for a good while, just deleted it off phone one day, then came back to it months later to play for a while more. I might come back to Alchemy Star as well. We'll see. Again, I think he's in a pretty similar situation with me. Just kind of doing dailies and get by, but doesn't really have too much purpose of playing the game. Master Heretic says, it's been a long time Nerfa. Yes, it has been. I just randomly saw this while scrolling because I unsubscribed. Sorry, I thought you deleted your channel or something. I quit Alchemy Star after the 1.5 anniversary because I couldn't have fun the same way I used to. Same. I like playing, but I wasn't overly excited to log in, so I decided to quit before the current event. I quit because the game felt like a never-ending farming simulator instead of an actual game, and event formats weren't doing it for me anymore. After a while, clearing events in 2 days and having the rest of the months off got boring real quick. So yeah, they did change the events from I think 3 weeks to 1 month, and that was after I left. So yeah, it was already worse before I leave, and after that I assume it's even worse, and you have one more dead week, which is I assume a little bit worse. The mini games that came with the events also turned me off because it felt like Turok doesn't know what direction to take the game in order to appeal to more audience. The idol producer mode was okay, but felt out of place considering the gameplay of Alchemy Stars. I don't know what the idol producer mode is because I didn't play it, so sorry about that. Moreover, one of the things that irked me was the storytelling in recent events, and I retconned some things in the beginning of the games, like the idea of idols, VHS and camera being a thing, and that clauses and AI are that evolved to the point that they thought they were alive. Overall, it just felt that Alchemy Star has no direction on what it wants to do. New units are hit or miss too most of the time. Aside from those things, I went on vacation and terrible service, so I didn't log in for 2 weeks in game. I found that I didn't really miss Alchemy Star as much as playing Arknights or FGO. It hurts deciding to quit Alchemy Star since I played it for 1.5 years, but it felt like it was the right time to quit. Sorry for rambling on, but the Alchemy Star community is so small that I don't really get a chance to express my view on it. Honestly, Alchemy Star community is not that small. It's definitely solid smaller than the bigger gacha, but if you go to Reddit, there's still a decent amount of people over there. And there's a lot more comments. Some people talk about the story was not enjoyable, and some people actually still playing the game, which is good. If you enjoy it, why stop, right? I don't think it's an understatement to say that Alchemy Stars is a great game. In the vast majority of mediocre copy and paste gacha game out there, Alchemy Star stands out like a sore thumb. Alchemy Star is not just an amazing gacha game, it is an amazing game. It's been a while that a game gave me this much fond memories. Story that made us cry, moments that made us smile, and gameplay that actually required thoughts instead of just smashing the auto buttons like the monkey you are. Every single section of the game feels like it has been handled with care. Custom made icons for every event stages, animated scene for collecting rewards. Even the NPC have some of the best design I've seen in gacha games.
Yeah, Matthew, off to the NPC, there you go.
Character that made you care. Scene that you can relate. Villains that you pity. The adventure with Navigator and his friends. All stunningly crafted and carefully brought to life. Even if it's just letters and pictures on the screen, you can still understand what each character is going through in that specific scenario. Recently, I came back to read the stories of Fragmentary Ball. At the end of the story, I smiled. I was genuinely happy for Adonis and Tara, and I was genuinely sad for Sable. What I am trying to say is, although I no longer play Alchemy Stars, I have to say, Turok did a damn good job with their original IP, and I'm grateful to be alongside this journey.
白夜ももう見慣れたものね。
夜を彩る光になって逆光の向こうへ。
But anyway, I talk about Alchemy Stars for far too long. 2022 might not be the best year, but Alchemy Stars and you guys have definitely helped me get through it. Whether you're still playing Alchemy Stars or not, you can't deny it was a pretty great gacha game. I know a lot of you all are curious, what's next? Should I unsubscribe now seeing that you start making videos? Well, I have some good news for you all. Starting today, I will be releasing weekly videos. I want to start making videos I'm proud of, so I will be upping the quality of my videos. So for those who are willing to give me a chance, hold that unsub button, yo. Anyway, that's it for me today. Nerfa out. Peace.